Hello everyone and welcome to another What I Think review. Today we are going to be reviewing the Fun Pack expansion for LEGO Dimensions. This is the second Doctor Who expansion pack, and this contains a Cyberman and a Dalek. Now, unfortunately, still at the time of reviewing this, very much like the first expansion pack, I still don't have LEGO Dimensions, so this is just going to be an aesthetic review. However, I'm sure there are many other people out there who can give you a bit more info about how this actually works in the game, but it's Doctor Who LEGO, so for me it's good enough to have on display. So obviously it tells us a little bit about what we've got in here. Dalek, actually quite different to the ones that we usually have. I have one here. If I bring in a comparison, you can see there is actually quite a bit of difference, but we'll get onto that in a bit. So obviously, nice design pack, nice Cyberman. Cyberman looks very good. I have to say, looking at the Cyberman, great idea if anybody wants to create a Iron Man custom. You wouldn't just need a silver Iron Man head, and you've basically got the body. Obviously, I don't know that much about Iron Man, so I appreciate it's probably not accurate, but just the idea. So on the back, it tells us a bit about what we've got involved. So we've got a standard Dalek, and then we have a Fire and Ride Dalek, and then we have a Silver Shooter Dalek. There's certainly some very interesting differentiations there. I like the look of the Silver Shooter Dalek. That's almost worthy of a custom, but that's something for another time, we shall see. Anyway, let's get into this and see what we've got. Now, when I did this before, I didn't have access to the instructions because I don't have the game, so I might have to see if I can find them online, or I'll just have to see if I can work it out for myself. And I've just ripped the box because I can't get into the bloody thing. Don't cut yourself. I don't want to start bleeding on camera. Oh, come on. They really pack these things well. So much for keeping the box in good condition. Anyway, let's get everything out. Let's put the box to one side and see what we have. So, instructions as usual tell us how to put the Cyberman together, and that's basically it. Doesn't really tell you anything else. So, Cyberman is actually probably going to be quite easy. It's doing the Dalek that's going to be the hard part. So, let's get everything out. So, start off with the Cyberman. It's quite nice actually. It's got a nice metallic tint to it, as you would expect. It's quite a dark, but it's still looks good. I still think that's actually quite a good representation of a Cyberman. And obviously he's got his special thing to stand on. Yeah, I think that's quite. Oh, it's quite nice. Quite a nice piece to the collection of proper Doctor Who LEGO there is. I'll just move the camera down slightly. Yeah, I quite like that. That's very good. So I'll put him off to one side. So, onto the Dalek. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, so I'm going to see if I can find any building instructions online. So, give me a second. And here's the finished Dalek. Yeah, it's quite a nice one. I can see the way they put these together. They're quite good actually. It's a bit of a shame that you've got to have the game to put them together. I managed to find the instructions online. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame for people who haven't got Dimensions and want to collect these, that you have to buy the game to get the instructions, because, you know, I appreciate that, yes, you can just look them up online, but it does seem a little bit of a cheat to me. But I can understand why they do it. Maybe cheat's the wrong word. I retract that. But it's a bit of a shame that they can't include it in. They can't include the base model building in the instructions. It would be nice to see this version, this build in the instructions. But then if you want to build the other versions, then you go to the game for those. That seems a better alternative for me, because otherwise people who haven't got the game have to look online, see if they can find them, or otherwise they're just left with a box of pieces. It is a bit of a shame. But anyway, so taking the Dalek off his plinth for a moment. So it's quite a good looking Dalek. As I said, it's very different. If I bring in a comparison Dalek, you can see how different it is. But one thing that this really actually jumps out to me here is taking off these two pieces. Now, if I don't think there's one on, oh there is. Let's just take this one apart for a second, and I'll put it back together, but I'll show you what I'm trying to do. If you just did that, you then have a special weapons Dalek, and it's obviously a lot bigger than the standard Dalek, so it does look different. So I definitely think that's something that I'm going to do with this one, because I don't have Lego Dimensions, and I'm guessing when it comes to rebuilding the different model, you don't actually need to rebuild it to play the game as such, because unless this has got some kind of weight sensor or some way of sensing that you've changed the model, you could basically put this into the game as the standard Dalek and then say, right, I'm going to rebuild it, and then just stick anything on top of there and say, yes, I've rebuilt it. I'm guessing the rebuilding is literally just an out-game aesthetic. So what I'm probably going to do, and it's something that I'll probably do for the Cyberman as well, is I will put an old character options Dalek on here, so I know that that's the Dalek plinth. In the same way, I'll put an old character options Dalek on, an old character options Cyberman on the Cyberman plinth, because then it means I can have these two in my collection with the TARDIS. And I really like that idea. I really prefer it, and I have to say it's definitely something that I'm going to do in terms of getting a piece that will, because I don't think I can probably get these gold pieces as standard, but what I will try and do is to try and find these pieces in the same cream tones, so I can put that on there, and then I can have a special weapons Dalek for my collection, because it's quite a nice little thing to have. And I just sort of, the moment I saw that and saw the difference, I thought, there's an interesting idea that you could do. And I think it works, actually, because as I said, it means that people who haven't got Lego Dimensions don't have to worry about having Lego Dimensions to have these in their collection. I think it works, I think it works quite well just having them as part of the Lego collection. So overall, I have to say, I'm very impressed with the figures, very impressed with the Lego itself. Box artwork is very nice. My only criticism of these Lego Dimensions packs is the lack of instructions on the machine building. As I said, it's the same with K9, and it's the same with this one, is when you get the pack, you have to have the game to know how to build these. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I appreciate that, maybe not everyone's going to share it, but in my opinion, what would be a good idea is if you had the instructions, because you've got the instructions for the Cyberman. I will be honest here, I don't think you need the instructions for the Cyberman, because, okay, unless it's very young kids, most people are going to know how to put a minifigure together. That is a bit of a waste. I'm trying to do quotes there. It is a bit of a waste to have that. So I think instead of having the Cyberman, or at least alongside the Cyberman, you could have how to build this base model. And then to do the other ones, what were they called? The Fire and Ride Dalek and the Silver Shooter Dalek, have those in-game. But have the standard model here actually in the instructions. I think that would really help sell the pack then, because as I said, because then it means that people who haven't got Lego Dimensions haven't got to worry about getting the game, because they think, oh well, the instructions aren't in it, I can't build it. But overall, really, it's Doctor Who and it's Lego. I'm not going to speak bad of these as models. I think they're very good, and I certainly am going to create a special weapons Dalek for my collection. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And I will see you all with another video very soon.